project. We appreciate and understand the concern from the community. It's why we've engaged Tech, and they can talk a little bit about what's going on the seismic readings and that type of front. But we are operating under the terms of a state issued Department of Environmental Protection blasting permit. Uh, the permitted ranges, which I'm not a geologist, but I've been assured by Wampum, who's Wampum Hardware, who's doing the blasting, that we're operating at about 20% of what the permissible values are. So we're trying to keep in mind that we do have neighboring residents, both next door with Stonebridge as well as across the street with the Boyka Plan. Giant Eagle's obviously a busy place, so we've tried to conduct these blasts in a way that aren't disruptive to the community, and I think we're doing that. We have had a few complaints. We do not handle those in-house, and we don't do that for a number of reasons, but particularly we do engage with third parties like Tech, and we also, I know the Township has probably had a few complaints. We send those over to the Department of Environmental Protection, where those are addressed. And we actually don't even receive correspondence from them about those. So unless somebody contacts my office directly or WG Tomko, we're generally out of that loop. But in recent days, I have continued to have discussions with our neighbors. On Friday, I went to two neighboring property owners' homes, and we observed the blast together. So we are trying to do the best that we can, so you don't, and your office doesn't receive a lot of phone calls. So, Benny, would you like to add anything to the discussion? Then I guess we can answer any questions
Before
that the board would have.
the gentleman from Wampum speaks, Attorney DePrani,
Yes.
here's a concern that I have, and I can speak on behalf of the board. You were in here several months and you explained similar. The problem is there's disinformationalists on social media that are distorting everything you're saying.
I'm aware of that,
And
yes.
they are putting the onus of this Board of Supervisors that we are responsible for contacting the residents of the township. We have never said that.
Correct.
We have the tapes of our past meetings. We've reviewed them several times. Several different professionals have reviewed them. We've never said that. However, it's been propagated, and that causes more unrest and bad feelings for the residents who are already concerned about blasting and are not sure.
Sure.
So this is our problem. We asked you, Attorney DePrani, to come here for one of those reasons. So I don't know if you can address
Yeah,
that
Mrs.
again,
Dare,
once for the record.
I'd be happy to speak to that. In no time is this Union Township's obligation to inform the neighbors when we conduct the blast. In fact, we go through about a 3-step process for notification. The first thing that we do is within 24 hours of a designated blast, we contact Washington County 911, Executive Director, Emergency Director Jeff Yates. We start there. We notify them that in case they receive any calls for assistance, or I think one of our first, somewhat comically, one of our first blasts in early September was called to 911. They thought there was a plane crash at the Phillyville airport. We haven't had any similar calls since then. So the first thing we do is notify those authorities. The second thing we do is notify Monongahela Police. Monongahela Police provided traffic control for a substantial number of our blasts because the way the regulations read, now that we're reducing the size and shifting to a more remote area of the property, we've not been required to have Monongahela Police there, but they're generally notified when we're blasting. We also notify the township through electronic means before we blast. Yes, sir. And then if I may, the final step we do is we've generated a call list. And we have an administrator at Tomko who makes phone calls 30 minutes to all the neighbors who requested the deal. Some obviously no longer wish to be on the list. We've also added people to the list that live in the community. Many of those are frankly not even near the area in which we're blasting. But in order for people not to be surprised, not to call the township, we've added them to our 2-call list. So we do that 30 minutes or so before the blasts occur on a daily basis. And if we are scheduling multiple blasts in a week, we generally notify during that first call that our schedule would be, say, Monday and Wednesday, for example. And I will say we're not blasting on New Year, Christmas Eve, Christmas Day, New Year's Eve, or New Year's Day this year, naturally. I'm sorry, sir, go ahead.
Yes, you mentioned Boykin, and I live in Boykin.
Yes, sir.
I live directly on a great shot where you guys are
I
doing.
think when I park in the morning, I can see your house. I know exactly where you
know,
are.
you know, right?
Yes, sir.
I see you live around. Anyhow, I don't really have a problem. I remember I was sitting underneath my oak tree when that first blast went off, man, you know, and I thought it was second coming.
The first blast, it got a lot of people's attention.
We do feel the vibration.
Yes.
And I'd rather have that blast and get it over with than have the ram hose like we had. You know, I can remember when Mr. Tomko first started over there, he was going 7 days a week. And in this room, I said to Mr. Tomko, I says, even God rested 1 day a week. Can't you give us Sunday off? And he quit working Sunday. And he's kept his word. And sooner or later, you guys either got to be done over there, or you're going to be digging up China. You know,
They've moved an incredible amount of earth. And we shared that goal. I mean, naturally, and Mr. Tomko wanted that to be done tonight.